The world of space news is so exciting. We got NASA, SpaceX, and Boeing all giving up plot twists. So much so that we made a video over it. So, hear this. Why would NASA pick SpaceX over Boeing for a contract worth $1.4 billion US? Now this is a big win for SpaceX. They're making crazy amounts of progress, and now a partner with NASA. NASA has officially agreed to fund 5 additional space programs. This will strengthen the partnership between NASA and SpaceX, which will now cover a contract of about 14 space missions, having a value of up to $5 billion. Not a lot of money or anything. Here's some background. NASA's Space Shuttle program blew up in 2020, and since then, SpaceX has fully managed all the campaigns of space launches. However, the relationship between both these companies is enhancing every passing year. The relationship eventually began in 2014, and with the help of NASA, SpaceX launched 6 astronaut missions at the value of over $2.6 billion. They both had a running agreement of 3 additional launches by the end of 2023. But in December 2021, out of the blue, NASA announced to extend the partnership until 2030. This partnership will be a key moment in the history of the world of astronomy, because when the 2 top companies will work together, we know great things are about to go down, or technically up. Of course, politics has continued to have an effect on space missions. The operation of the ISS has begun to become doubtful till 2023 because of the current situation going on in Russia. ISS, which stands for the International Space Station, is the largest modular space station currently in low Earth orbit and is considered an orbiting laboratory. According to the European Space Agency, the ISS was supposed to be a collective program of leading nations from around the world, which included the USA, Russia, Japan, Canada, and Europe. Hopefully we're all aware that Russia is in the midst of a war with Ukraine, while they are also involved in controlling ISS. Now Russia has issued a threat to cut off and refuse any cooperation related to the space station. The space mission cannot be taken on its own by NASA, because a portion of the orbit of ISS is controlled by Russia. However, the extension of the contract with SpaceX gestures that NASA is highly confident that terms with Russia will be clear, and ISS will continue to function till 2030. The NASA contract with Boeing was also under the same program, but what will happen to that contract? NASA has made it clear they have no intentions of parting ways with Boeing, and will continue to support them in the launch of their spacecraft, Starliner, which is set to launch next year. They will carry on with these missions with different providers, so it is ensured that there is at least one such mission per year. NASA's Director of Commercial Space, Phil McAllister, made it clear in a statement that the goal of NASA is to have multiple providers for the same mission, which is crewed transportation. Crewed transportation is the transport of a specific number of people in a specified vehicle. NASA has said nothing about sponsoring Starliner in any future mission. The reason for this is that NASA already had its hands full till 2030. They had 9 additional missions contracted with SpaceX and 6 contracted with Boeing. And NASA plans to fly on only 2 missions per year. And we are only left with 8 years. Keeping in mind the space station will stop flying by 2030. NASA is booked and busy until 2030 with their schedule. Now hold up. This also doesn't mean that Starliner will only have 6 launches. Boeing has also revealed that their intention of using the spacecraft for its private missions, which may include the commercializing of already existing space stations. However, only 6 Starliner operations have been confirmed thanks to the partnership of NASA. But it doesn't necessarily mean we rule Boeing out. Let's not exclude anyone, okay? They are in partnership with Blue Origin, which is also a private company that manufactures and offers services to suborbital space flights. Blue Origin and Boeing are partners with Sierra Space and intend to form a joined team that will send spacecraft to orbit. The commercial space station is planned to be named Orbital Reef. Having about 90% of the volume of the ISS, the Orbital Reef will be able to uphold a capacity of up to 10 people. The role of Boeing in this partnership will be to use Starliner to transport people to and from the station. One interesting thing to note here is that Starliner is still in the testing and development phase. The NASA Aerospace Safety Advisory Panel is highly concerned with this because there is no surety that the Starliner will launch its first mission in 2023 and that Atlas V will have enough launches to compensate for the launch of all 6 Starliner missions. In August 2021, the ULA announced that the Atlas V would retire after completing all 29 remaining launches. By now, only 20 launches of the Atlas V are left, and the more time Boeing takes in the launch of Starliner, the more difficult it will be for NASA to entertain the launch of all 6 missions. David West, who is also a member of the Aerospace Safety Advisory Panel, added that the new Vulcan Launch Center, which is set to replace the Atlas V, might take years to be fully certified for launch. It was also confirmed by the ULA that all launches that have been confirmed before include all 6 Starliner missions. NASA Commercial Crew Program Manager Steve Stitch added that NASA is ready and looking to human rate a new system. Human rating a rocket means to certify the safety of any space vehicle for the safe transporting of humans. Any viewers want to volunteer? The ULA has announced no plans for human rating the Vulcan for launch, but the good news is that the hardware of Vulcan is 90% similar to that on the Atlas V, which will make it easy to human rate the Vulcan. Vulcan will also have an ability that will make it much easier and cheaper to reuse the rockets. This is given the name SMART, which means sensible, modular, and autonomous return technology, and will allow us to recover the expensive parts of the rocket for reuse. Vulcan will be using 2 of 2.4 MN-BE4 engines in its first stage, and human rating these engines would become one of the main changes on Vulcan. While Boeing would want to be the first to human rate the engine, Sierra Space also has plans for launch on the Vulcan. It has planned the launch of its spacecraft, the Dream Chaser, crewed version by 2023, and the cargo version of it by 2026. Maybe it's not bye-bye for Boeing yet, but SpaceX is definitely one more step ahead to their way up. It's exciting to sit and watch these gigantic companies achieve great things. We might not get to space, but we'll be down here talking about all the cool things we get to learn. Tune in next time.